good now. We good now? Still no volume? We should be good. Hold on, let me try one more time now. We good? Okay, we good? Good, good. You know what? I have a Bluetooth connected in my truck, and this daggone thing automatically connects to the truck, even when I'm in here. Annoying. But hey, we're locked and loaded now. So yes, talking to our athletes, right? We're talking to our athletes. The specific topic initially, I don't know if you saw the video that I dropped. When was it? Yesterday, late last night. It was directed towards college athletes and off-season training, right? But what we're talking about, all athletes and off-season training tonight. And what I was talking about earlier, talking to myself apparently, was about what my younger athletes. The big mistake you make is you bust your butt during the off season and then you let it go during the end season. That's something we can't do. We do not want to do that. We never want to do that, all right? Because you're throwing away your games, right? That's the rule number one. The number one mistake is you're throwing away your games. Number two, number two, you want to have the mindset and understand how important it is to lift in season once you get to college. Because right before y'all told me you couldn't hear me, what I was saying is you don't want to be the freshman that shows up for school, it's never lifted in season, and all of a sudden that's a burden. That's in your head. So you can focus on being the best baseball player, best softball player, best soccer player. You can't do these things, right? You're too busy worrying about, man, I gotta get up 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it is, gotta lift. Then we got study hall. Then we got this. Man, I don't know. When you left during the off season, you're not worried about them things, right? You're not worried about those things. You accomplished that. When you left during the end season, excuse me, as a younger athlete, when you left during the end season, and when you get to college, you have that routine down anyway. You're not worried about that. You're there to enhance your performance and make that roster, make that team, and start as a freshman. Impact. You're not Dion. Yeah, you're not Dion Sanders. Yeah, yeah, that's hey, Dion. You're right. Not everybody's Dion. That man, that's the goat. That's the goat, right? Dion looked like he rolled out of bed and run a 4-3, right? So, us normal people, to get. We gotta bust it during the end season and the off season. So understand that, guys. Understand that, right? Understand that. But now, let's get back to the topic. I do want to see what we have in the audience here. Two, if you're a college athlete. One, if you're below college. If you would drop that in the comments so I can get an idea what type of audience we're talking about, right? So now let's go ahead and move into the topic off-season training. All right. So the big thing about off-season training, and shout out to everybody who showed up. Shout out to my man Kurt. Shout out to Betty. Those are the names I see right now. D, shout out to all of y'all. Thanks for joining me. So the deal is off-season training. I used this piece of paper for an earlier live, and it looked a lot better than this, but work with me here. When you guys show up, too, okay, got some twos here. Good, good. So when you guys finish your off season, this is your body. You finish your in season, finish your season, this is your body, right? Your goal during the early phase of the off season is to restore your body back to this. As an athlete, really as a human being, you're never going to get that body to that perfect piece of paper, right? But we want to restore it to this the best we can early in the off season, right? Because it's never going to get to what it used to be, but we can't perform at a high level, adding volume, doing plyometrics, adding volume, adding intensity to this, because you're begging for an injury. But when we return the body to this and then load the body, add strength to this, add power to this, you're gonna put up numbers during the end season, number one, and you're gonna stay healthy. All right. So the number one thing I want you guys the concept I want you to grasp off season is restore your body as close as it can to a higher state of a state of homeostasis, right? That's what I want you to focus on early in your off-season program. All right. So how do you do that? You correct your muscle imbalances, right? You return your ranges of motion, right? So, an example, you might have tight hip flexors. If you have tight hip flexors, you need to work on that during the off season. Tight hammies, same thing. All right. Restore ranges of motion, restore or correct imbalances throughout the body, right? That's what you want to do early and often because I told you, you don't want to load something that's off. And that's what happens. When I say load, I mean you start to squat, you start to bench, right? We don't want to load something that's compromised because you're just setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for injury, right? So work on your flexibility, work on your mobility, right? Foam roll, restore your tissue the best you can to its ultimate state, right? Do all these things and do it with intent. Don't rush through it. That's something all you guys do, college and below. You all do it. You rush through the foam rolling, you rush through the prehab work, you rush through your mobility, you rush through all that stuff. All right. Can you say happy birthday? Can you say happy birthday, Tristan and my brother Nick here, please? Happy birthday, Tristan and my brother Nick. There we go. There we go. I said it. There you go. Tristan and Nick. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Um, so love Trish. All right. So we got that in. Thanks for stopping by. And I think I think I see what you're trying to do there. And it is what it is. But hey, let's talk about this right here. Hey, like I said, I see what you're trying to do, love. I see what you're trying to do, and whatever works for you. Let's see. In off-season training, right? So let's get back to the off-season training. Hey man, can I tell you something? Go ahead. Keep it. Let's keep it. Let's not get rude. Go ahead, give it a shot. Let's not get rude or anything. But go ahead and make your point. Say what you have to say. But I'm gonna continue talking about athletes, right? Because that's why I'm here. I saw this guy and he kept begging me for money. I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever there. Um, but let's continue to talk about athletes, right? Continue to talk about athletes. So when we talk about athletes and off-season training, all right, off-season training. I talked about how we want to restore the body to its previous state. Something we want to do. And we don't want to add load. We don't want to load. When I say that, I mean add weights, add resistance, right? We don't want to add weights, add resistance to a compromised body because you're asking for injuries, right? So that's something we want to avoid, right? So we do that. And so once we're ready to lift, once we did our mobility work, our flexibility work, now we're ready to lift, right? Now the type of exercise you do early in the off season, they're going to be basically basic movements, right? We're not overly concerned about intensity at that point, right? We're worried about form and putting our body in the best situation to handle the trauma or the weight that's coming down the road. So form is super important. Basic movement, squats, lunges, bench. We're not going to go super heavy on the weights, right? We don't need to do that at all at this point because, like I said, form is super important. All right, form is super important, and being able to add volume again, so you can enable handle the intensity that's coming down the road. So basically, we're looking at 3 to 4 sets of 8 reps starting off, right? And as we progress, we're going to add more volume, period. You're going to be doing more sets, you're going to be doing more reps, all right? This is called the hypertrophy phase of the training. We have the hypertrophy phase of the training, right? So again, we can add intensity later and our body can handle that, all right? Hypertrophy, we're building muscle, all right? All right. So the next phase, we're gonna get stronger. All right. So that's how we progress during the earlier phase of off-season training, right? Now, let's say we're in the middle, all right? The overall goal down the road is to put the body in a situation where, again, you can handle the load that I talked about, number one, but the movement started to start to mimic your sport a little bit as we progress during the off season. All right, does that make sense? So we're let's go back to the middle phase of the lifting. We're adding intensity, but we're sometimes we're adding volume, sometimes we're adding intensity during the middle phase, and the movements are starting to become more explosive, right? They're starting to mimic our sport a little bit, not a lot, but we're starting to mimic our sport a little bit. All right. So, and then towards the end or to the end of off-season training, that's where things are intense. Um, and the movements tend to be a little more, similar to your sport, and we're at a higher level of intensity. All right, because you want the intensity that you move to mimic what's about to take place during the season. All right. So in general, that's how we progress through our off season. All right. But the thing I want to hit home for you guys, things I want to hit home for you guys is in the early stages, prepare your body. Do not take mobility for granted. Do not take flexibility for granted. Foam rolling, all these things, right? Restore your body to its preseason state the best you can. Then think about adding resistance, adding load. Now your body's ready to accept load. Let's add the load. Now let's increase the intensity. That could, uh, more explosive lifts, plyometrics, all these things. And now at the very end, we're ready to step to the field because we're moving. We have game high intensity. We have game level strength, and we're ready to make an impact on the team. All right. So that's what I want you guys. That's how I want you guys to approach. I'm going to get rid of this nonsense that was here earlier. You know, you can't you got the idiots coming in, and we can't do anything about that. Is what it is. But let's say let's see. So what was I? We talk about what I like to talk about next is our mindset. We have to have the right mindset during the during the off season training. What is the proper mindset for off-season training? The proper mindset is, first of all, you have to establish goals. All right. Do not just start lifting without having off-season goals. You're setting your not necessarily setting yourself up for failure, but you're setting yourself up for a lack of preparation. All right. So what can happen, that lack of preparation that took place during the off season, it can carry over to the end season. All right. So don't just run to the weight room and start lifting without establishing certain goals. Set up goals, um, personal goals. It could be a 10-yard burst time. It could be a squat. It could be mindset, right? But establish goals at the beginning of the off season. All right, that's super important. Establish your goals. From the mindset perspective, you want to start developing leader characteristics as early as possible. College guys, so before pre-college guys, you want to start adapting those leadership mindset, and I help people work with that. So if that's something you're interested in, shoot me a message, and we can have a consultation, free consultation, and see if we're a good fit and go from there. But you want to start developing that proper mindset, that leadership mindset. The number one way you start doing that, to lead others. Remember this, my mentor told me this a long time ago. To lead others, you first have to lead yourself, right? That can mean things you might take for granted at home. That could mean small habits like making up your bed, right? Like taking out the trash, setting out your clothes before your day starts. These type of things, they build discipline, and believe it or not, they also build confidence, right? So you want to start developing that mindset, start developing that discipline to the point where you feel confident leading yourself. Then, when it comes in season, you have the confidence to lead others. So that's when it comes to that mindset. of the top athlete, successful athlete, first and foremost, lead yourself, then you'll be prepared to lead others. All right. So we talked about the concepts of lifting during the off season. Um, for you guys who just showed here, thanks for showing up. So the concept that I mentioned was I use this piece of paper here as an analogy. When you finish your baseball, your sports season, you look like this. Your body looks like this. All right. During the off season, the early phase, you want to do your best to restore your body to this regular piece of paper. You want to do your body your best. It's best to restore it to that part of the that restore your body that piece of paper. Meaning, you want to put your body in the optimal position to lift, to run, to accept load. All right. And how do we do that? We restore our mobility, we restore our flexibility, our ranges of motion, we correct muscle imbalances. We do all these things. And the challenge is with you guys tend to take that stuff for granted because let's admit it's boring, right? But what were we talking about earlier, right? The discipline, the mindset. Who cares if it's boring? It's what's is needed to get to the next level. It's what's needed to show up as a freshman and make an impact on the team, right? So make sure my phone's about to die. We gotta plug this in. Hope it didn't. Hope it, bear with me. There it is. I'll hold it. So, hey, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. We're talking off-season training. Thanks for stopping by. So I'm just talking about the what you do during the beginning phase of off-season training. All right, and it's all about correcting imbalances. If you're tight, we got to fix it. If you have muscle, if you have soft tissue or muscle injuries, we have to fix that, right? If you lost range of motion in places, we have to fix that. Because what happens is you don't want to show up for off-season training and just start putting load on a body that's compromised, right? That has imbalances, that has poor range of motion. Restore those. Then we add load, right? Then we restore those. Then we restore your ranges of motion. Get your body to run as efficiently as possible. Then we work on efficient movements. We master our movements. We master our exercises. Then we add load. All right. Once we're adding load, then we manipulate volume. Then we manipulate intensity. More volume early in the off season. As we progress, intensity goes up, volume goes down, and we're manipulating the numbers the whole time. We're never just doing this. We're never just doing that. We're manipulating like this. All right. Fluctuating like that, going up here, and then, like I said, moving through that type of fluctuation. That fluctuation prevents plateaus. All right. If you just do this, if you just do that, you're going to hit a plateau, period. All right. So that is covers everything really that I wanted to talk to. We talked about the mindset, um, nutrition. For my high school guys, it's super important that you start developing the proper eating habits now. I see that all the time. You guys eat so much junk food, your body almost does not accept, your whole foods, right? Because your stomach, your gut's full of these chemicals. All right. So, guys, start developing the right nutrition habit as athletes if you're a high school guy now. Because what's going to happen is you're going to show up to college, say you're underweight. A lot of times they just want to put weight on you. You're going to show up to college and they're going to be feeding you all this food, and it's going to be healthy food that your gut might not even accept because you've been crushing Doritos, right? You've been crushing Krispy Kreme. You've been crushing all types of processed garbage. So you enter the good stuff into your stomach, your body's like, whoa. So it's super important that my high school athletes start developing proper nutrition habits now. Start eating correctly now. At least 3 meals a day now. I'm telling you, we get to college and you're not where they want you to be, which can be the case a lot of often, they're gonna be feeding you 5, maybe 6 meals a day. And next thing you know, you're focusing here on, dang, man, I got to eat all this food, all this crap. Next thing you know, you're not even focusing on your performance. So you're compromising your performance, worried about nutrition, which is something that could have been addressed years ago, literally. All right. So we talked about the weight side of off-season training. We talked about the mindset of off-season training. We just addressed we're addressing the nutrition right now. Now, as far as the nutrition goes, I said at least 3 meals a day. Here's the simple rule. Follow the 80-20 rule, right? Eat healthy 80% of the time. Eat healthy 80% of the time. Eat what you want 20% of the time. And that's it. If you do that and eat at least 3 meals a day, you're good to go. All right? So I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut this bad boy down. Um, I hope you all got some value out of this. It'll be posted in the who we got here. I'm about to shut it down. I'm about to shut it down. I appreciate you for stopping by. The topic here was college off-season training. If you have a question though, do you have a question who just showed up? Do you have any question at all about off-season training for athletes? All right. Okay, I guess not. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I saw somebody just stopped in. We're talking about college off-season training. If you have a question, I'll answer it. Otherwise, I'm gonna shut it down. Do you have any questions about off-season training? The individual who just showed up. Going once, going twice. Any question? Any question about off-season training? Any question? Any questions? And I am out. All right, you guys have a great upcoming week. Good luck if you're playing in games this weekend or this week. And I'll talk to you next time. Expect another live later this week.